Welcome to a product update from Mosaic Chinese. Today we're going to look at new features in the version 1.3 and version 1.2 releases of the Anki extension. The major change in these new versions is a distillation of the old workflow system into 3 refined workflows. Minor changes include many improvements to the ancillary dialogues, a new context chat feature, and the integration of the Azure text-to-speech API for much improved text-to-speech service. So let's take a look. I already have Anki loaded up with the Mosaic Reader extension installed. I'll just press Study with Mosaic in the bottom toolbar to get started. Immediately you'll see a few changes. On the left side of the Prepare window, you see that my last studied deck has already been selected. That's Mandarin 5K Plus for me. You can easily change that in this dialog here. You'll also see quick statistics about the loaded collection, and you can look at that loaded collection in this preview dialog right here. On the right side of the Prepare screen, you see the 3 refined workflows: Study Cards, Study Collection, and Read Any Text. Study Cards will produce 1 new reading passage for every card in your collection. Study Collection will produce 1 combined reading passage for many cards in your collection. Read Any Text allows you to paste in or scrape from the web some text that you're interested in and read it, perhaps with some rewriting from AI. All of these workflows have AI capabilities built in, but you don't need them for all of them. Let's look at Study Cards. In Study Cards, you have a few simple options. 1, which cards exactly do you want to study? Here we're going to take the top 50 cards from my selected deck, sorted by the Mosaic default, which is do words today first, followed by do words in the past. You can take a look at those words right here to double check them. The second option is whether to review existing content. Say that you have example sentences in your Anki cards that you want to review, or to generate new content, either because you don't have sentences on your cards or you just want to mix it up. That's what we're going to do today. We can optionally give the LLM a topic to write about, which we may as well do here. How about we talk about space travel today? I'll press Generate, which will shoot off 50 in parallel API requests to OpenAI. We'll get back the results. We can look at those results here in summary form. So you'll see 50 reading passages, already sorted by do word density, although we could sort them otherwise. Here's the first one. So this is the first review that will show up when we go to the review interface. Let's take a look. So here's the first review. The review interface is very similar to what it was in version 1.1, but we've made some improvements around the edges. The core experience is similar. You read the Chinese sentence and you click on segments that are difficult for you to remember or impossible for you to remember. So let's say, for example, that I'm reading through this and I don't remember the word for universe here. I'll click on it.
宇宙
宇宙, universe, cosmos. It's been highlighted in yellow, indicating that when I commit this review, it will be logged as a hard review. If I clicked it again,
宇宙
it turns red, meaning it's an again review. Again, this corresponds to the Anki review classification scheme. When I clicked on this word, because it's in my Anki collection already, the segment info in the bottom right is pulled from the Anki collection, as was the audio that I heard. 宇宙. If I press card here,
宇宙
宇宙到底有多大？
it pulls up the actual Anki card in my collection. If I click on a word that's not in my Anki collection,
宇航员
you also immediately get information about the segment as well as text-to-speech, and that's because we are using a text-to-speech API and a dictionary API. So for this word, astronaut, 宇航员, I immediately get to hear the text-to-speech and see the definition. I can make a new note from this collected information very conveniently here and add it to my deck. Let's linger for a moment on the text-to-speech because that's one of the new features in this release. So this word,
宇航员
when you hear that, that's coming from the Azure text-to-speech service. I can configure that service in the Configuration Dialog, Integrated Services tab. Here you see Azure selected instead of OpenAI. You can choose different voices. You can choose different speeds. Maybe I want it closer to a natural speed, maybe at 90 here out of 100, and then redo the sentence.
每位宇航员都承担着一份探索宇宙的责任。
I find that to be pretty fast for my current level of Chinese, so I usually keep it around 70 or 75.
每位宇航员都承担着一份探索宇宙的责任。
We have this hovering feature, which lets you hover over words that you've previously clicked to get a quick peek at the pinyin and the definition. We have immersive mode, which removes some of the formatting from the sentence to give you a more natural feel. And we have the translation of the entire sentence available right here. Before we leave, let's take a look at the context chat feature that I mentioned at the beginning. That's found in the bottom right. This is if you want a closer look at a specific word to understand it better, because maybe the definition isn't really sufficient to wrap your head around it. So let's say that we want to learn more about this word astronaut. So we click on context chat here, and we're hooked up to a AI assistant that knows that we've clicked on this word, and it knows about the sentence, and it knows that we're in Mosaic reading about it. So we get a much more fulsome description of the word. We have some shortcut chat options down here. Maybe I care about the etymology of the word. And of course I can just talk about it, talk about the word with the assistant however I want. Maybe I want to learn about connections to ancient Chinese, for example. Well, I'll get some answer about that. At the conclusion of reviewing the sentence, you would press Stage Review. You get a preview dialog to show you what you're about to do to your Anki collection when you commit the reviews, and you can commit them. And that's just about it. Thanks for sticking with us here, and stay tuned for version 1.4.